Hello, I'm Connell Rogers, content producer for Mining Indaba, and I'm delighted to be joined by Allison George. Allison, wonderful to have you here.
Thank you very much, Connell. My name is Allison George, as you mentioned, and I'm the Head of Programs and Initiatives at the Development Partner Institute, also known as DPI.
Allison, amazing to have you here. At DPI, you often say that you drive collective impact for sustainable development. How can this help to foster relationships between large-scale and artisanal and small-scale mining?
That's an excellent question. So with DPI, our work is about driving, collective impact for sustainable development, as you said, and we really want to accelerate development from mining. And what that means for us is seeing sustainable development, seeing the sustainable development goals realized. And in particular, DPI is a neutral platform. So we don't represent any one stakeholder. For example, we are an eclectic membership of different stakeholders, and that can be from academia, it can be from the industry, it can be from different NGOs. So we really want to be a platform for neutral discussions and a platform for collaboration. And collaboration means that we have all these challenges for net zero 2050. So we want there to be collaboration across the mining value chain and across different societies to tackle those challenges. And so collaboration means for us actually creating tangible things, developing projects together after conversations that are effective.
So I just want to touch on something you brought up a few times there, which is collaboration, and we explore the theme of collaboration. How do you see us bridging the gap between research and industry?
Yeah, so one of the other things that I'm here to talk about is the Mining Innovation and Research Battlefield. And that's our annual competition. And the competition really, again, back to collaboration, is wanting to have people contribute to research that might not always be able to, and then to realize some of these innovations that we're wanting to see in the mining sector. So we ran that competition for the first time in 2022. We asked a question and we had lots of different contributions from young people, because that's one of the key group demographic that we're looking at. But it can also be people with fresh ideas and people who collaborate with youth research institutions, universities, industry, tech companies, mining companies, and for this year, also artisanal miners. So we would want to see proposals for that competition from this range of people. And we would want to really have ideas that have been developed together and so then can be delivered together. So that's really important to us for this theme of collaboration, that we walk the walk with what we're wanting to see.
You mentioned there that for the 24 Research and Innovation Battlefield that you've added artisanal miners. Do you mind expanding slightly on why that's been an addition in this coming year?
Of course. So the rationale for that is we wanted to think about how to go deeper with this type of engagement and what are the challenges that are mounting, and some that have been around for a long, long time. So artisanal and small scale miners make up, operate in 80 countries, approximately 80 countries globally. And they also represent the global south, a lot of the people in the global south, meaning Africa, South America, and Asia. Yet 90% of mining that happens, approximately that, happens by these particular people. And what's interesting about that is that unlike, let's say, North America, when you are on your land as an artisanal miner and you start mining, the resource automatically comes under the ownership of the state. So the relationships and the acquiring, let's say, a license and all of these things are a little bit more complex and very different, because by its very nature, artisanal and small-scale mining is subsistence mining, and it's the way human beings have began mining, but it's very different from a large industrial scale operator. And historically, we've seen that although there is industrial mining, it doesn't always realize itself as economic development, in particular for those global south nations. So if we want to address sustainable development, then there needs to be deeper engagement and indeed collaboration to tackle some of the mounting global challenges with climate and the economy, but indeed with enabling people, driving private sector and SME development. All of these things are impossible without engaging and or having collaboration between the large scale and the small scale and artisanal miners.
That's really interesting. Then it's something you just touched on is when we look at the future of mining. How do you see artisanal and small scale mining and large scale mining innovating in pursuit of the energy transition? Do you see them working together?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, a country that's discussed often, and there are other commodities. So you know, in South America, there is the idea of copper, you know, and of course gold, and we know that the what's deemed as critical minerals, nickel, lithium, graphite, cobalt, in particular from the DRC, which is you know, I think almost 3 times the size of Western Europe, but holds a lot of the commodities that are required for the transition. When we look at that, there is a direct contribution that these countries play in as producer nations of these commodities in the energy transition. So they can't not be part of it, and therefore the huge workforce that they have, human capital, has to be part of it. So in the case of DRC, which is often used, but it's because it's a good example, and it's where you want to realize development in terms of health, education, jobs, and things like that, you have 70% of cobalt coming from that region, and 20 to 30% of those people mining are artisanal and small-scale miners, and approximately 50% of those are women. And we know, especially in the African continent, under 60% of those people are under the age of 18, and that's obviously classed as the international age of an adult. So when you want to drive development and drive in-depth understanding of how to realize mining potential and indeed improve the social license to operate, you have to begin to engage. And there you see the most, I think, realistic efforts of mining actually contributing to something new. And it shifts the historical understanding of what we've come to understand about just leaving the hole in the ground, or indeed some of the geopolitics that we see, the rise in tensions, and the plundering and exploitation for resources and sometimes people.
That's a very interesting summation. I'd like to bring you back slightly to one of the points you made a few minutes ago around your previous question for the research and innovation battlefield. I just wondered, do you know what the question will be for the Mining Indaba 24 Research and Innovation Battlefield?
We do. We are really curious to learn and to have fresh ideas, fresh impact, new understanding. So the question is, what innovative collaborations are possible between large scale, small scale, and artisanal mining for the energy transition? And that's our question. And of course, what's implied there and underpins it is that we want a just energy transition. We want lots of people to be a part of what that looks like. Not just some people, not just some interpretations of criticality. And so what can we do? And what's innovative? What are these collaborations? And that's our question. We really would welcome, as I've mentioned earlier, that we have maybe a research institution or somebody from a mining community. We are looking for artisanal and small-scale miners as well, and we have different avenues to access those people at DPI, and will be having, as part of the judging panel, an artisanal miner, as well as large-scale operators, so we can know what an innovation actually is. So we welcome research proposals from lots of different unique ways of collaboration working together. We really want to see that demonstrated. And just to say, last year, our judging panel had BHP, who supported us with our innovation grant, and that was just over 25,000 USD. So you imagine you've got a fantastic idea and you want to have it realized and implemented. So we are offering an innovation grant this year again of 25,000 US dollars. And that's this year we will be partnering with BHP again in the form of BHP Explore. So BHP were part of the judging panel. They're not sifting the applications, but they see the pictures when they come. We also had Anglo-American last year. We had Anglo Gold Ashanti. We also had B4D and a DPI as the judging panel. And this year we will have industry giants again. We're led by our Master of Ceremonies, Sheila Karma. So we have an eclectic range of people who are informed and experienced in the mining sector globally and are recognized in the countries that we're working in as well as experts. So that's what we're very excited about. So it's an opportunity to really pitch, imagine Dragon's Den, have your idea heard. Whether or not you win, the journey is exciting. And there's a video on our website of the two ladies, Tapiwa and Shilpa, that won last year, talking about their journey and what they've been able to do. We're looking for scalable projects, and that's what they had last year as well.
I'll tell you what, Allison, I'm also really excited to see this all come to fruition in February at Mining Indaba. But thank you so much for joining us, Allison.
Thank you very much, Connell, for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure and just a great opportunity to speak about this work.
Thank you, Allison, for being here in the studio, and thank you for watching along. And please look forward to this coming to fruition in February at Mining Indaba.